Hello, I'm CJ Coughlin, and I did mine on my Intro to Sociology project on the prevalence and intensity of basic symptoms among cannabis users by Martinoni, Delario, and Tedeschi. And what they were trying to find was the effects of smoking cannabis among kids like us, and if it would affect their test scores, or what would happen in school, or just their mental state, or if it would cause any disorders. And what they came up with was that the independent variable during their whole study was obviously smoking cannabis, obviously. And then dependent variable was there was an increased relapse of time. They had some hallucination, some people had some hallucinations, but it wasn't on a massive grand scale. They had to use the survey technique to study how to figure out, because most people won't just say this stuff out loud. So they want to make sure they would get all the bases covered and to be ethical. They don't want to intrude on their privacy. Many times they would actually they also did stratified random sampling for some of the college students, so they would also get a bigger, more diverse sample so that they would understand what they were looking at. And this all was put in the Journal of Drug and Alcohol. But one of the biggest things that they found out from all this study was that 71.9% of the subjects used cannabis for more than a year, which to me wasn't surprising, but to them it was. And many of them did not have any school or academic reasons that were affected by the cannabis use at all, which was very enlightening for me, because I thought, well, most people who do that stuff would get in trouble. And it also allowed many of the people they also made sure that the backgrounds of the students wasn't shown, so that there was no never harmed by the research principle was shown. And they made sure that others such as all the students that were tested, they made sure they did a pre-test of their scores on this the tests, then did an actual test score, and they correlated them together, and there was that's how they figured out there was no effect at all. The other one I used that was pretty interesting to me was the risk of marijuana use in the male and female college athletes, which to me was very interesting because it's quite more prevalent than we think it is. And they also used stratified random sampling, and what they came up with was it does not affect their athletic performance as much as people say it is, but it still would affect their academics in some form or way. They would have more laziness. Their performance would drop from in their sport, but I mean, there's few athletes that can make through without getting in trouble for it. And what a sociologist would find interesting with this kind of topic is the internal would be the cannabis was supposedly linked to more drug abuse, but in the study, most the college kids would not be affected by it. And another thing they would find interesting is that the external factors in this do not play as much a part of it as you would think. It's mostly a personal choice. Most of the users they found only do it out of choice. They don't it's not peer pressure oriented as much as you would think it is. And that's my presentation.